Hi everyone, I was just about to sit down and apply some makeup to film in a little bit, and I thought actually I'm wanting to try out so many new products that I thought I would film the process. So we're going to do a little bit of a get ready with me with some brand new hot makeup. At the moment we've got products from NARS, Surratt, Say, KVD Vegan Beauty, Hourglass, Huda Beauty, lots of new stuff to try out. I'm really hoping that I like it all because whatever happens in this video today, I will be filming a little bit later on with whatever face I create during this video. So keeping all fingers crossed. If you're new here, hi, my name's Gemma. I upload new content on YouTube every single week. I would love it if at some point in this video you are finding it helpful, you're liking what you're watching, please consider clicking on the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. So I've already done my brows and put a little bit of eyeshadow primer on my lids. I will link all of the products that I'm going to use in this video in the description box for you, just in case you want to check any of them out. I am going to be trying a brand new product from Hourglass. None of the products that I'm featuring in today's video have been given to me or gifted to me through PR. I bought all of these with my own money. Super excited to try these out. So I'm not usually a fan of one and done eyeshadows, the cream eyeshadow sticks. I think they are great and they definitely have their purpose, but usually I gravitate towards powder eyeshadows that I apply with a brush. I am going to give it my best as pretty much a novice in the stick eyeshadow department. If you feel that my technique could do with some work, please give me your tips and tricks in the comment section. Always happy to learn, and I'm learning every single day. So I picked up 2 shades of these. I've got the shade Moon and also the shade Aurora, which seriously spoke to me. It's a slight greeny tinge, but more on the gold side. So if you're not really into greens, I don't think this is going to be like green. I think it's going to be more on the antique gold sort of thing. So usually I go in with a crease shade first when I'm applying any powder shadows. So I'm going to emulate that with this cream shadow just to really play around with it to see how easy it blends out and how much time I have to play with this before it adheres to the lid. So I'm going to take a brush and just see how that blends, and then I'll try using my fingers on the other eye. This is blending so beautifully. Really creamy but easy to diffuse. And look how gorgeous that is. Just a slight tinge of green. But again, like I said previously, it's more of an antique gold shimmer. Really stunning. So I think the whole point of stick eyeshadows is that it's quick and simple. So I am going to keep it very, very quick and simple. Take the shade Moon and apply that over the rest of the lid. I might apply a little bit more in the crease area of Aurora a bit later. But for now, let's see how this blends with a finger. Again, very, very nicely. It's a pretty shade. It's not overly dramatic. I was expecting a bit more pigment, but that's not to say I don't like it. I do like subtlety in my eyeshadows, but I think this may disappoint some. So I was just blending that with my finger and realised I'm actually removing some from the lid. So maybe blending this out with my finger is not the best way to go. It is lifting slightly with the warmth of my fingertip. So I'm just going to apply a little bit more and then take my brush and blend that out with my brush rather than with my finger. Still not great. Can you see it's a little bit patchy on my eyelid? And I loved the deeper shade, but this lighter shade is being a little problematic. Am I doing something wrong with this? It's also showing up any dryness that I have on my lid, which the Aurora shade didn't do. I'm going to move on to this other eye and see whether it's just one eyelid that's being a little bit of a drama queen. Let's apply a little bit more of the Aurora shade just to that outer edge and in that crease. And then let's see how this blends with my finger on this side. Again, stunningly well. Really like that shade. So I'm just going to pop a little bit more of the shade Moon over the rest of my lid. Just going to give that a minute to adhere and to start to dry down before I start blending that out. Actually, the other side that was looking a little dry and patchy is no longer looking dry and patchy. I'm not quite sure what happened. Was it just my eyesight? I don't know. I really don't know. Okay, so that's been on for about 30 seconds. Just going to blend that in. It is so smooth. See, that's gone on effortlessly. Not quite sure what happened over here. I don't know. I am just going to take a little bit more of the shade Aurora and just deepen off right next to the lash line. Add a bit more drama. I do like the way that these eyeshadow sticks are within the tube, the fact that they've got a slight slant on them, so you can use that point to get really up close and personal with that lash line. We are going to come back to the Voyeur eyeshadow sticks from Hourglass a little bit later on and put some underneath that lower lash line once I've got a bit of concealer on. We're going to move on though to a brand new bronzer from Saie. I have two shades in this. What is it called? The Sun Melt Natural Cream Bronzer. I have the shades Fair Bronze and also Light Bronze. I'll show you those on the screen now. I'm not sure which one I'm going to go for. I think ideally in the summer months, if I'm going to be putting this on my skin on its own, I would probably go for Fair Bronze. If I'm putting this underneath foundation, especially if it's underneath a foundation that's really full coverage like I'm going to be using in a minute, I think I'll go for Light Bronze today. But I love them both, absolutely adore them, and they are just the right shades for me and the correct undertones without making me look orange. Always a plus. So I've just swirled my Refa 19 brush in the tub and I'm just going to go around the perimeter of my forehead first and foremost, and then I'm going to go underneath my cheekbones on both sides. Usually I would cover over any imperfections before I start this stage. Not going to do that. Again, the foundation that I'm going to be using today is high coverage, so I shouldn't need to cover over those. The foundation should do the job for me. A little bit on the end of my chin here. This is such a beautiful formula. I actually used this, was it yesterday or the day before? Can't remember. All days are sort of rolling into one at the moment. I used it on one of those days anyway. I've actually used this now over foundation and also under foundation and got the most beautiful look. It's such a creamy and yet non-sticky formula. It sinks into the skin. It's just beautiful, and I would say definitely beginner friendly on the blending front. You don't need to blend this for hours on end to get a really nice seamless look. So the shade Light Bronze, which is the one that I have on my skin today, is definitely bronzier and warmer in undertone than the shade Fair Bronze. So if you do have the same skin tone as me and you're wanting to use this predominantly as a contour shade, you're wanting more of a cooler vibe, then I would definitely go for Fair Bronze over Light Bronze. But I really like that warmer, bronzier look to my makeup at the moment. If I was only going to use this as a contour shade though, Fair Bronze would be my winner every day of the week. The foundation I'm going to be using today is from KVD Vegan Beauty. This is the Good Apple Full Coverage Liquid Foundation, and it is a beauty. I have been meaning to talk about this for such a long time, never got round to it. We are going to do that right now while I'm applying. So this is £34 in the UK. You get 30 mils worth of product. Comes in 40 shades. I've gone for the shade Light 012. I would say this is slightly too yellow for my complexion, although I can totally make this work. So I use my Refa 35 brush in between my brows, around my brows, and also down my nose and any other difficult areas around the contour. And then I switch over to my 104 buffer brush from Zoeva to buff out any of that bronzer underneath the foundation. This gives a full coverage, and yet it's got a really light feel to this. It's a natural finish on the skin. It's not overly matte, and yet it's not super radiant either. It's somewhere in between. It's supposed to be transfer, sweat, and humidity proof. It's extremely long wearing. It's supposed to blur pores, have a seamless flashback free finish. It covers absolutely everything, including blemishes, acne scars, hyperpigmentation, and more. It's alcohol free, fragrance and essential oil free, and it's cruelty free and vegan. So I absolutely adore the packaging of this. I think it's really sleek, sophisticated. It's a glass bottle. It's quite intricate. I really like the design. It's supposed to be a serum-like consistency. I would totally disagree with that. I think it's more of a thick cream consistency, but it blends superbly well into the skin. It doesn't sink into the skin as far as I'm concerned. If you're wanting more of a natural coverage, you're probably going to want to go for a different foundation. You can shear this out a little bit with a damp blending sponge. If you're wanting super full coverage, go for a brush. This is such a nice foundation to use. It looks incredibly beautiful on the skin. It's not a skin-like foundation. This is definitely a full coverage foundation, but it doesn't look heavy. Do beware though, don't over apply this, otherwise the heaviness will appear. I used around about 1.5 pumps for my entire face, including a little bit down my neck. So if you don't like to put foundation down your neck, 1 pump should do for a really full coverage. So I've just applied a little bit of concealer underneath my eyes so that the under eye situation does not overshadow the glory that is this foundation. I mean, just look how stunning that is. It's just beautiful. It covers over absolutely everything. Now this little spot here has a bit of broken skin on the surface, so it's never going to cover 100%, but boy does it look so much better than it did before. And I also had quite a few breakouts around this area here, which are now practically non-existent. No concealer necessary. It's just all foundation. It also wears incredibly well throughout the day. Out of all the new release foundations, this is definitely my favorite, and if I am going out where I want my skin to look flawless, this is the one that I would reach for now. Most definitely, hands down. So let's finish off the eyes. I'm going to take the shade Aurora just on that outer edge and a little bit on this side as well. I'm going to keep this as natural as possible. Then take the shade Moon and rub that underneath and right into that inner corner, because why not? And as I smudged on this side anyway and cannot be bothered to correct my mistake, and also it looks really pretty anyway, I'm going to take the shadow stick slightly onto that waterline. Wow, that is seriously pretty and quite eye brightening and eye awakening as well. Little bit on that inner corner as well. Taking my Refa 03 brush, I'm just going to blend those two shades together. Oh, I love this colour combination. It's just a bit of me. Stunning. Then I'm going to apply some of this brand new mascara from Surat. I think that's how you pronounce it. I pronounced it Surat at the beginning of this video. I have no idea, everyone. I am from Yorkshire. I never did French. Please excuse my ignorance. Somebody put me out of my misery in the comments section and let me know how to pronounce this. I'm also not going to pronounce the name of this brand new mascara because, again, I can't. So I will put the name of the mascara down here for you so you can read it yourself, and please educate me in the comment section if you know how to pronounce it. So I'm just gonna curl my lashes and then apply some of this mascara. I wore this to Seth's football presentation evening and absolutely loved it. Very easy to apply because the applicator, the wand, is so thin. You can really see the fibers in this mascara when you get very up close and personal, and it's a very, very natural looking mascara. It's not one of those ones that hugs every single lash, so you can't feel it pulling on the lashes, which I really like because that means it's going to be really gentle. It's not going to tug on my lashes when I'm applying the mascara. It really creates fluttery, separated lashes, so your lashes look very defined, each and every individual lash you can see. But it also looks incredibly natural. So if you're wanting really full, voluptuous, very noticeable lashes, probably not going to get it with this formula. If you're wanting something very subtle, that I just woke up this way sort of look, very natural glam, you may want to give this one a go because it is beautiful. It also didn't transfer onto my upper lids, and it was hot and steamy at Seth's football presentation the other day. We were in a tent and then we were outside and the sun was shining and it was really beautiful. So it did me proud. And I kept on looking at Beatrice because I know Beatrice will tell me the truth. Nobody else will. When I was just like, is there any mascara on my upper lids? And she's like, no, no. So yeah, it did very, very well. And you can layer this up. It's very, very easy. And you don't need to wait too long in between coats like some mascara. It layers very, very well on semi-dry lashes. I'm going to leave it at that though, because I think they look incredibly beautiful. Look at that. Really soft, fluttery, defined lashes. Beautiful. So I've just applied a little bit of the mascara to my lower lashes. If you've been a regular to my channel for some time, you will know I tend not to do that, only because I like a really voluminous upper lash. So generally I need a separate mascara for my lower lashes, because if I have uber volume on my lower lashes and they're super dark, tends to cast a shadow on my already emphasized dark circles underneath my eyes. So I just prefer not to apply mascara on my lower lashes. This mascara, however, is the perfect mascara for those lower lashes because just separates everything, defines the lower lashes without making them look heavy. Really like that. So girly and fluttery. I'm really excited about this. Really, really excited. Can you tell? Can you tell? I don't know. On a side note, by the way, you may be able to help me with an issue that I'm having in my house. So I am really struggling with dog hair at the moment, and my clothes go in the washing machine and they all come out covered in dog hair. So is there something that I can put in the washing machine with my clothes that takes all the dog hair off my clothes whilst it's in the wash? I know I'm asking for small miracles here, but if anybody has any tips, I already have all the lint rollers and everything for when you're actually wearing the clothes and you get dog hairs on your clothes, but it's a problem. The whole washing machine situation is a problem because my kids don't care that they're covered in dog hair. What colour is their clothing? It's Ralph coloured. That's what it is. It doesn't matter whether they go out with black clothing on, they come in, they roll around on the floor with Ralph and then they're covered in his hair. So I've gone on about this for way too long. If there is a solution to my problem, would love to hear it. Thank you very much. You will be my friend for life if you help me out with this problem. Let's move on to blush, and this is a brand new product from Iconic London. It's in the signature Iconic London packaging, which gets covered in fingerprints. If you already have a little bit of makeup on your fingers, this is just gonna get caked. This is the Kissed by the Sun Multi-Use Cheek Glow, and this one is in the shade Playtime. Now, I couldn't get the shade that I really wanted, which is more of a peachy corally shade, so I've opted for this one. and I'm keeping all fingers crossed. It does look very, very pretty. As you can see, I've already swatched this. I've swirled my finger in the packaging, but this hasn't actually been on my cheek yet. It's got quite a lot of glitter particles within the formula, so I am a little bit concerned about that. Okay, here goes nothing. Picking up a little bit on my brush, just gonna dab a little bit on my cheek so not to get too much on. Actually, that's really pretty. Okay, so the glitter particles that you can clearly see in here aren't as noticeable when you start applying this to the cheek. I will go out in natural daylight and see whether my face glimmers. That really is pretty. So no need for highlighter when you have this on, because as you can see, it really does catch the light. If you are worried, if you do have open pores though, and you don't want to draw attention to your open pores, this probably isn't going to be for you, because it is accentuating a little bit of texture that I have on my cheek here. Again, doesn't offend me massively, really doesn't. I think this looks so beautiful, but if you are trying to cover over any texture that you've got, if it does bother you, definitely steer away from this, because it will emphasize that texture. Oh, I can hear angels singing. Look at the glow. Oh. So I don't think I need a powder today. This foundation lasts an incredibly long amount of time with or without powder. So if you're one of those people that does not like to apply a powder on a daily basis, you may want to try this foundation if you do like full coverage. If you want to cover redness, any pigmentation, try it out. It is superb. However, I do have the new NARS, what is it called? Soft Matte Advanced Perfecting Powder. I have it in the shade Cliff. I have already swatched this and applied a little bit to my skin. Already know this is the wrong shade for me. Slightly too fair. However, for the purposes of this video, we are going to overlook that and hope that it blends out. So I'm just going to apply it in a couple of areas that I want to brighten, because that is definitely what this powder will do. It's supposed to mattify slightly, so I'm going to take my Refa 37 brush, just dip that in the powder. It comes in lots of different shades, so if I like this, and I did like it when I wore it the other day, if I like it enough, I will pick it up in my correct shade, which at the moment I don't know what that is going to be. I will have to check out the website, but look at that. In between my brows, I do have quite a bit of texture and open pores. They've got so much better recently, but I mean, the problem is still semi there. And look, no pores, zero, none. Okay. This area here that I have a little bit of texture. Let's see if it works on that. Okay, again, the wrong shade, but gone. Gone. What has just happened? Okay. It sort of defeats the object having this in a too fair a shade, because now it's really dimmed down the blush that was a nice shade to begin with and also glowy. So I didn't really want to take the glow away, but that was a really good experiment. No texture, none. Let's dab a little bit. It is blending out really nicely, even in the areas that I didn't want to brighten, so I could make the shade Cliff work. Also got a bit of texture around this area here. So let's... Oh, shut up. Oh my God. All right, okay. How on earth? I need to put this down because I'm going to end up with this all over my face. Okay, so we know the powder works. The powder definitely works. Really loving the blush though, so I'm not going to dim down the sheen of the blush just to disguise the texture, but we know you can do that with this powder if you so wish. So I'm really impressed. I didn't pay much attention when I last wore this powder. I've only worn it once. Not quite sure why I didn't look at myself in a mirror more times throughout the day. So I will keep an eye on this throughout the day and update you in a pinned comment how this actually wears throughout the day, whether the whole dimming down of any texture, the just blurring pores, lasts for a considerable amount of time, because if it does, this will be my new holy grail powder. So I've outlined my lips using the Victoria Beckham Lip Definer in the shade 02, which is my favourite shade. I've kept to the border of the lip. I've not brought that lip pencil down into the body of the lip because I'm going to be trying out a brand new lip stain, and I'm not quite sure if it needs to be on a completely bare lip or not for it to work. This is supposed to be transfer proof. It is supposed to be smudge proof. You're supposed to be able to do absolutely everything, eat, drink in this, and it should be bulletproof. Time will tell. This is a brand new product from Huda Beauty, and it's the Okay, it is the lip blush. It's a creamy lip and cheek stain. Now, I never have that much success with a lip stain. Usually feels lovely for around about an hour and then starts to go a little dry and crusty, so watch this space. Again, I will put a pinned comment at the top of the comment section to let you know how I get on with this. I've got two different shades. I have the shade Peachy Kiss and also Coral Kiss. I'm going to use Coral Kiss today, I think, because it will probably match my cheeks a little bit better than Peachy Kiss. So here we go. We're just going to go straight in with it. Oh, hello. Oh, that feels really creamy. Oh, okay. Now, I've not been looking after my lips recently. I'm usually a bit of a stickler for looking after my lips. I've just neglected myself in general over the last few weeks, so really could do with some tender loving care on my lips. I'm not quite sure how this is going to go because my lips are quite dry at the moment and a little bit cracked in places. So I'm going to let that sit on my lips for a good 5 minutes just to let it dry down. It does not feel dry at the moment. It didn't feel like a watery consistency. This feels like a very loose, creamy consistency. It feels quite hydrating at the moment. It feels very, very comfortable. More like a very lightweight lip balm than a lip stain. So I am intrigued. I'll be back in 5, or at least for you, it will be pretty much immediate. Okay, 5 minutes has passed. Let's do the transfer test. I have a fresh tissue. Pretty much zero. There is the tiniest amount on there, but I did do a double layer. Maybe that was, you know, the problem here. Nothing, absolutely nothing. This looks like I have no product on my lip whatsoever. It just looks like this is the natural colour of my lips. There's still a little bit of creaminess there, but now that's dried down into the lips. It's more like I've got nothing on my lips whatsoever, rather than that really nice, hydrating, nourishing feel that I had when I first applied the product. So, love this at the moment. Have a feeling, though, this probably isn't going to look like this in an hour. So again, pinned comment. I will let you know. Really impressed with how this looks though. So this is the finished look for today, and I've got to say I really, really like it, even though the shade of blush isn't a shade that I would usually gravitate towards. I really like the formula, so I cannot wait to get my hands on the shade that I actually wanted in the first place when it comes back in stock. Little bit of an update on that, however. I did say that this is more radiant rather than sparkly out in natural lighting. Sparkles do appear, so if you do not like that in a blush, you are not going to like this one, so stay clear. Gorgeous, gorgeous mascara. Love it. We'll be wearing it a lot on my channel and also off camera for the foreseeable future. Also, really like the lip product, even though this shade, again, is not one that I would automatically gravitate towards. I do think the shade Peachy Kiss will be more my cup of tea, but time will tell. Gorgeous, gorgeous foundation. Been wearing this on and off camera for a really long time now on those days where I want a little bit more coverage. The powder, gonna take more practice because I was a little bit wowed, if you saw on camera, at the amount of texture that this actually erased and covered over and airbrushed and just all that sort of stuff. So I am going to be using that a little bit more before I make a decision on that one. Really like the bronzers. Again, if I could only go for one, I would go for fair bronze over light bronze, even though light bronze is the shade that I use today. I use that because I was putting quite a high coverage, well, not quite, a very high coverage foundation over the top, and I still wanted it to shine through. What other products have I tried today? Eyeshadow sticks from Hourglass. So again, these aren't something that I would usually reach for on a daily basis, but they were so easy to apply. Not quite sure what happened with the shade Mood, but as you can see, I mean, no patchiness now. And also there has been no creasing. So once this sets, it sets. It's very, very workable for around about a minute and a half. Then it sets in place and it's not going to budge. So I'm very, very impressed with those. And I will reach for them again, especially the shade Aurora, which is that greeny, more antique gold shade, because I think it is so, so classy and beautiful. Really gorgeous. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Do you like the look that I've created today? Have you tried any of the products out previously? What do you think about them? What has been your experience? Do pass your knowledge on to the rest of the pack. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and hope to see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.